People have been asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. So yeah.
No, dude, you already did that one.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I
Yep,
did.
you did it for John Wick Chapter 2.
Alright, I'll have to think of another one. Hold on.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I chose this life. And someday, it's going to get me killed. But not today.
Initiate vigilante mode.
What's going on, guys? Alright, we're back. I have taken a small little break. I think I owe you Dunkirk, and I owe you Baby Driver. It's like in the computer. Okay, so one quick small thing I wanted to say before I get to my review of Atomic Blonde. A friend of mine who I met at the UCB intensive that I took a couple of weeks ago, she's never seen Star Wars. It sort of occurred to both of us that this would be a monumental opportunity to make some awesome YouTube videos, and we're gonna kind of like break it down, tear it apart. She's gonna do some reaction stuff, and we're gonna kind of like talk about it via Skype and get that to you guys. Make sure to watch till the end of the video so you get her information, which I'll include in one of these four corners. It's gonna be kind of tricky because we're gonna sort of like trade off who releases which video. If you want to see the whole thing, the whole series, you're gonna have to subscribe to both of our channels, and we're doing one film per month until the release of The Last Jedi. It lines up pretty perfectly. Very, very excited to get into that. That being said, let's get into my review for Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde is directed by David Leitch. He's one of the two directors from the first John Wick movie. They have sort of, I guess, broken off and done their own things. Atomic Blonde is based on a comic book, so technically this is a comic book film. Atomic Blonde was definitely one of my more anticipated movies of the summer, just based on the trailer. I felt like the stylization was pretty awesome. It definitely had that kind of female John Wick vibe. Digging the female empowerment stuff going on in Hollywood right now. What did I think of this movie? Meh. Don't get me wrong, this is not a terrible movie. It's getting decent reviews. It didn't really click for me, and I'm gonna tell you why, but first I'm gonna start with the things that I did like about the movie. Obviously, it kind of goes without saying, it's very beautifully shot, well choreographed. I love the 1980s setting, love kind of the punk sort of scenery. The whole falling of the Berlin Wall thing was somewhat irrelevant. I'm sure there was some deep symbolism behind that, but it just didn't really register for me. The end of communism, I don't really know. Obviously, the action was great. The fight scenes were great. Charlize did a great job with those fight scenes. They were extremely well choreographed. Not reinventing the wheel. There's definitely a lot of stuff that you kind of seen before, but it's still nice to see, and it's certainly nice to see a woman, handle herself. I mean, she's a great actress. She's one of the best I think we have in the industry. She's got a lot of pull. She's a producer on this film, so she's able to kind of get her way, which is really cool. And I think that shows. And I'm very impressed with the work that she put into it. So nobody can take that away from the film or her at all. To be honest, I was not really buying the British accent. Go to town on me in the comments. I wasn't really buying the accent that much. That doesn't mean that she's a bad actress. There's definitely a lot of kind of 80s nostalgia happening of late. Obviously, Stranger Things. We got Ready Player One coming out. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about Ready Player One. I just read the book. It's amazing. At points, the music was a little bit distracting. James McAvoy was pretty good. I mean, the guy's a great actor. He had a good year with Split. I wonder if he'll get maybe some supporting actor attention for that. I don't know. He's good in the film. I mean, all the actors are great. There's some familiar faces from John Wick, given that this is the same director. David Leitch is going to be, he's going to take over for Tim Miller for Deadpool 2. I'm very interested in people who decide to be co-directors, like Coen Brothers or Joe and Anthony Russo. You get a great sense of this movie was made by the same people that made John Wick. I definitely did like that about it. Let's move on to some of the things I didn't love so much about this movie. I feel like this film's narrative is just all over the place. I feel like they tried to break up the sort of linear storytelling and make it into this sort of neo-noir, broken narrative with flashbacks and her explaining, what's going on. That's sort of how the movie sets up. Felt very cliche. I honestly feel like the plot of this movie is kind of hard to follow, even for me, and I watch a lot of movies, and this one was not perplexing in a good way, not like a Memento or like a Departed. Confusing, and there's these names and these aliases, and you don't really know who's who or really care that much. They use the same MacGuffin plot device they use in every spy movie, which is the list of all the spies. I mean, they just did that in Skyfall. They've done it in like 3 of the Mission Impossible movies. Can we find another plot device, please? The villain, there is no villain. Or is there? And if there is, it's not a compelling one. Pacing is kind of poor. It's not like a super long movie. It's an hour and 55 minutes. It felt longer than that. I was looking at my watch in the movie, and that's not a good sign for your film. I did not connect with Lorraine. She's cool, she's got a lot of cool things about her, but that's not enough to really make me empathize with her character. Take a look at John Wick. You know, you got a character who's wounded by the loss of his wife. Spoiler if you haven't seen John Wick. The dying gesture of his wife was to give this, puppy to him to make him not have to grieve alone, and then these gangsters, break into his house, steal his car, and kill his dog. That makes me care, and there's nothing really in this movie that reaches that level of kind of emotionality. Much stronger, kind of propulsion for your hero of your story. There was a lot of twists and turns, and they just fall flat. It just ultimately felt like they were trying too hard. There were people walking out of this movie, and bless them. I'm glad they enjoyed it. That's great. That's fantastic. Some people are looking to just like turn off their brain and see some really cool action, see Charlize Theron kick some people's asses, and while that was really enjoyable, I felt like the rest of the movie was kind of like vacant. I could nitpick and go to town on this movie. I don't really want to, because like I said, there's enjoyment to be had. This is not like the worst movie of the year, but like I didn't really like Baby Driver. I didn't really connect to that. I felt like it was somewhat cliched in many ways. It just didn't really work for me. It didn't really land. I hope the movie does well, so that it can get a sequel, so that they can sort of clean it up and give it a little bit of a franchise appeal, because I do think that, she's such a great actress, she's so talented. There's definitely great directing going on there. I would love to see like a continuation of where this character goes next. They're gonna need to do a little bit of like I think a little bit more of a reevaluation of like how to tell these stories about this, female secret agent. So I'm gonna give this movie a C+. It's not the worst grade in the world. It's just, this movie could have definitely, hit you a little bit more. And here, I would have been a lot more willing to go on the journey with Charlize Theron. Well, that's my review for Atomic Blonde. Did you see it? What did you think about it? If you did see it, leave a comment down below. I'd love to know what you thought about the movie as well. Like I said at the top of the video, got the Star Wars series coming out soon. Channel of my friend is going to be right here, or here, or here, or here. Definitely subscribe to that channel. Her name is Lowry. She's awesome. If you like British accents, you're gonna get one from her, although she's from Wales, so don't get it twisted. She's got some fun content. It's very playful. She's got great kind of enthusiasm and all of that. So it's really cool. I'm really excited about the project. Please, guys, as always, like, share, and subscribe to Vigilante Mode Reviews. And until next time,
Vigilante Mode deactivate.